Welcome to my channel, Custom Scrapbook Design by Christy Stubbs, and welcome to another installment of my Scrappin' Saturday series. However, it is coming to you on Sunday this week. I just finished up a huge commissioned scrapbook project and didn't quite have time to film yesterday, so let's dive in. Today I'm going to be bringing you a layout using Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Berry Fields. And I did actually kind of prepare ahead of time a little bit today. I'm going to walk you through a couple steps. We'll see if I end up using everything I've prepared. I've got my photo mats and I've already actually inked around the edges. I'm hoping to save a little bit of editing time today since I'm getting kind of a late start on this. So I've got my photo mats and I'm going to do a 2-page layout. I've got 4 4x4 photo mats, and the mats actually measure 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I've got 2 4x6 photo mats prepared, and they actually measure 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So I'm going to set those aside. And I picked a few ephemera pieces that I thought I would possibly use, and I've already inked those. We'll still be doing some inking together. And I've pre-cut a 6x6 piece of cardstock, and we're going to make a doily together. I have already made one and done some inking on it to kind of antique it and distress it. Again, the planning ahead may backfire on me. I'm not real good at planning ahead. I'm better at just kind of winging it. So we'll see how this goes. So for the base layer pages, I'm going to use the Farmer's Market, and we're going to use 2 of those. I love how they've got kind of the bingo card kind of in the background up in the upper corner, and then on the right hand side there. And then I had pre-cut the 4x6 cut-aparts, and they've got this buffalo plaid on the back. So I actually think I'm going to be using some of this piece. I pre-cut a whole sheet of the journal elements, and I'm not going to be using the back of this. So I'm going to just throw this one aside because we are not going to use this. I just wanted to show you the elements on the full sheet. And then if you watched last week's video, I actually used this particular sheet, which is the Rise and Shine. And here's the opposite side. I'm not going to use this side because I'm going a little more antique-y, but I may use this blue pattern here. And then it's possible I may use the berries and cream, leaning towards the berry side, and then the sky and clover, which I'm leaning towards the clover side and bringing the blue in with this one. And then I also cut apart the 3x4 elements already. And I'm not going to be using this barnwood piece either, just because it's more on the white side. And I would like to go on the antique looking side. So for this layout, I am going to, once again, pull out my tearing tool from Creative Memories. If you've watched a few of my videos, you know that I tend to kind of like that tool and have been using it a lot. So my plan is to use the yellow as the base, and then we're going to layer up some of the torn pieces on the left-hand side on the one layout page, and then on the right-hand side on the other page. So we're going to go ahead and rip apart some of these papers after we cut off the branding strip. It is definitely a nice change of pace to be doing my Scrappin' Saturday series and be working with the Simple Stories line. The job I mentioned previously was doing some sports books. So over the last 3 weeks, I have completed 4 albums of nothing but sports. And while it was fun, I am definitely ready for a change of pace. It has kind of consumed a lot of my time. In 3 weeks' time, I completed 4 albums, which I think might be a record for me. And I need to really, one of these days, sit down and focus on my own stuff with that kind of commitment and dedication. It's amazing what you can get done. All right, so we've got all those ready to go. Now, I just need to figure out, oh, we're gonna go with the green. Figure out the order in which I wanna layer everything. Obviously, I wanna split those greens up, and maybe I don't even want both greens. Let's take, actually, of course I gotta position it the way I wanna use it. Okay, I think we'll just start with doing a little tearing. And then this green actually has some of the blue on it too, so maybe we want to layer up. I don't really want the solids necessarily together. All right, so what we're gonna do to start is just start tearing some of this. And I really don't need to go super wide on it. I think what I'm gonna use as my guideline is this edge and just kind of line up the high part of the ruler on it. And give it a good tug. All right, so there's one. And then for this next one, I'm actually gonna go just a tad bit wider. And then for the green, I think I'm just gonna go about the same as the blue. Now I am layering it, so part of that is that bottom layer does not have to go all the way to the outside edge. You know, these don't have to, I'll show you when I get the last one, once I get this last one torn. Let's tear it first, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This is why I'm not doing any measuring, is if I want to start with the red, it doesn't have to line up here and each one line up on top of it, but rather I'm going to just bring in that first one and then decide where I want that next layer to go. And I need to make sure and cut off that branding strip. We don't want those greens together. And that one has blue. Let's take a peek. That one has the green. So just trying to find the order in which I want to put these, and I'm not 100% sure, only because I am going to actually tear back a little bit, just a little bit on this, and I'm going to fold it down. So that's where I was trying to decide like how I want to layer my colors, because I don't want the blue on the blue, and I don't have a huge combination of colors because I don't want to get too wild with them, but I kind of wanted to tear that one back. And then let's see, I know on the other side of this one we've got white. but we can go ahead and use our ink on that and change that up a little bit from the white. And I just used the ruler again and just kind of tore that back a little bit. So that's essentially kind of what I want the layering on each side to look like. So there's one side, and we're just gonna go ahead and take, well, let's see. Take and get our other side ready as well. So, all right. So, looks like we kind of tore the blue. And all I did for that was just picked a spot and just kind of tore it along the ruler there. And then folded it back. And then just also just kind of tore it and folded it back there. It doesn't have to be real pretty or nice. We want it to be kind of just rough and torn and kind of jagged. So you probably don't even need to use the ruler to do that necessarily. And then just fold it, as much of it as you want. Now, I am gonna ink all of this because, like I said, I really want it to look antiqued. And I am going to use the vintage photo. So I'll go ahead and do all of that inking real quick. And for that, I'm only going to ink this jagged edge because I'm not sure which one's going to be the bottom layer for sure. And I'm just going to go in real heavy on that tear and get it inked real nice. So if this is your first time watching one of my videos, the rest of you who follow along every Saturday probably get sick of hearing me say this, but when I ink, I like to just grab my little mat that I got at the dollar store, and I generally just kind of ink right over top of it, and it catches a lot of that extra foam that may come off of your dauber. And they tend to start doing that right away, it seems like. It doesn't matter if I've got a new dauber or an older one. I always tend to have some that kind of flakes off. And if you use this mat, it just kind of collects all of that. And then you're not having a whole bunch of ink all over your project. Because trust me, I have not used it before and ended up with some ink that I did not want on my actual work surface. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the end all or fix all for you, but it will collect a lot of it. Now, this piece is white, and I'm really wanting this to be antiqued, so I'm going to fold that back, and I'm just going to rub it with the ink and really antique that side of it, antique that little tear, and kind of just get rid of all of the white and turn it more of that vintage photo. So that's how we're going to deal with the white on that. Plus, as you can tell, it's taking care of the white where I tore the paper as well, giving it more of a distressed look. And again, I'm just going to fold that back, and I'm going to ink, and all I did was load my dauber full of ink and just kind of gently swirl to cover the majority of it, and then you're going to have to tear it apart to cover up all the white again. But that'll take care of a little bit of white on there because, like I mentioned before, it's going to have more of an antique look to it. All right, so we're almost done inking all these. So I absolutely love this Berry Fields collection. I only got a little bit of it, and I'm kind of regretting that. The more that I've pulled it out and started to want to try and come up with some layouts for it, I kind of wish I had the full collection. I did not get the full collection. I pretty much got what's in front of you, what I kind of showed you guys at the beginning. There might be one other piece that I have as well. And I really liked the more solids too, because I thought they'd be a real versatile solid to be able to use like outside of the collection as well. So that's part of the reason why I limited what I had gotten. But now that I have it in person, it is absolutely gorgeous collection. Okay, so we've got all that inked. I'm going to set this aside. We are not done inking, but we'll set it aside for now. And let's cut our branding strips off of our 2 base pages. Get those off while it's still easy. Occasionally I forget to cut them off until I've got everything loaded, and it definitely makes it more of a challenge. All right. So with those cut, and let's get our pages, torn pieces on the right sides. See, the red does have some typing on it. So does the green. So that's why I ended up recutting those to make them be the right direction. So let's just work on one at a time. And we're just going to layer those up, and for the life of me, I couldn't tell you how I had those layered before, so let's reset those. Oh, let's see. Maybe the green, and then the blue, green, and red. Okay, so before we set that, let's take a quick peek at what I've got for some journaling pieces. Yeah, that'll be good. We don't want either of those greens necessarily on top. We're going to want that, I think, just exactly as we've got it. So the easiest way to do this, I'm not really sure. Let's see how much we want of each one kind of showing. And we may have to end up putting some of our mats, our photo mats, up on top of some of this layering as well. Let's see. We've got 2 4x4 photo mats that need to go across that top. So let's see how those are going to fit. Not worth a darn. Okay, so maybe we want to extend that. This is why I don't plan ahead. Never sure how it's going to work out. Let's Tends to be why I do better flying by the seat of my pants. Okay, we're gonna do that. And then I was wanting the 4x6 to kind of fit roughly like that. So I think in all reality, I'm gonna pull this even out just a little bit further. So we really just need to know where that green one needs to start. And I think roughly about there. So I'm just gonna tack that down. And now we can layer the rest fairly easily. Oh, I know when I did this the first time, I didn't have these two that were torn together. But that'll work. We'll leave it like that. All right, so you just want to line it up on the top, and I must have trimmed that one a little long. Got a little overhang on the bottom here. I don't want to see that yellow, so here we go. Lifting it up. I'm going to put that a little closer, and I'm going to put that overhang at the top. Oh. Still don't have it. There we go. And then I'm going to put the red one down. And I didn't use a ton of adhesive on this just because again, if you followed me before, I tend to tear stuff back up. So even though I'm pretty well think I might have this down before we're done, I could potentially change it. But when we do get to the end and I'm pretty well set on where everything is, I will probably go in with some wet adhesive and just kind of tuck some under the spots that maybe are still just a little bit loose. Okay, we're even at the bottom. Need to do a little trim across the top. And I think we'll go ahead and do that right now before we get too much extra stuff on here. And honestly, there's so little to trim. I am gonna just grab my scissors. If I can find a pair. That's what happens when they're actually put where they belong. I can't find anything. So we're just gonna trim off that little excess. Now you can either put it in your trimmer or use your scissors like I did. All right, and then I'm also gonna just put a tiny piece of tape on this little flap here and hold that one down. And then I think I'll do the same with that one just to keep it kind of folded back. And at least that bottom one could use a hold. I think that top one will end up being just fine. Okay, so let's set our photo mats in place once again. Yeah, and I like that the photo mat actually comes up onto that green. I mean, we could make it fit the yellow and even tuck it under. But I think we're going to put it up on top. And again, I'm not pressing anything down real hard because I'll guarantee I'm going to move something. So we'll just get our photo mats set in place. Now originally I was thinking that the two photo mats would go straight across. I'm just going to set that one there with the backing, and I'm going to set this aside. We want to do the ephemera and get that ready before I put down the photo mats because of the spacing. Now, I told you I would show you how I made this doily. So let's go ahead and do that. So this punch is a Creative Memories punch. And you need a 6x6 square piece of paper. And you line it up. It's got, I'm not sure if I can get this in camera to show you very well, but it's got a little edge here. So you want to line your paper up all the way at the back and then nice and tight along that edge. And then you're going to put it in and you're going to punch and you're just going to turn it and put that next corner in and punch. And so then you're going to have this little edge here and you're going to turn it 4 times and hit all 4 corners. And that's a good time to kind of get that out of the way. Then you're going to flip this over. And then this little area is going to fit nicely in the punch. And this is where you've got to be just a little more careful in making sure you hit the very back of the punch and you hit this edge closest to me. And that is how I got my doily. And then they do have a couple different doily dies. And I will put my Creative Memories link down below. That's where this came from. They snap, whoops, snap shut and are stored flat. So they're kind of a nice little tool. So this is the color that my doily was originally, and now this is what my doily looks like now. So let me show you what I did to that. So I took my mat, and I originally started out just distressing the edges of it, and then decided I actually wanted more of an antique look to it. So I took my dauber, loaded it full of ink, and just kind of started applying the ink in a circular motion. And you just want to be real careful on the outer edges because those are pretty delicate out there, so you don't want to apply a ton of pressure. And I even went in and just kind of pounced with the dauber a little bit as well. And I don't want it to be real uniform. I want it to look, you know, more of kind of a blotchy look, I guess, is what the look I'm going for anyway. So by pouncing and circular motion and kind of just zigzagging back and forth, I've got more of kind of that uneven look going on with that. So that's the look that I was wanting. So that's how I actually did that. Okay, we're going to pull this back in here. Got the 2 photo mats. That one's got some adhesive on it. This one does not. And now I want to use this doily. At least I think I do. I also took a white small pre-made doily and did the same inking on it. Not sure which one I was going to want to use. And I really wanted to use this bingo card from the 4x6 cut apart sheet. I just really liked this bingo card. And I think I've got this tear in a spot that I'm not loving. I really don't know that I want it. Because this is where I wanted my bingo card. So it's actually going over top of that tear, so that one probably was not necessary. Let's see how big this doily looks, and I think we're going to end up cutting this. So I'm not going to cut it exactly in half. Maybe more like at the 2/3 type mark. And we'll put the doily down, the bingo card down. We're going to slide that up just a little bit, get that 4x4 there. Get that doily out of the way. And then this came off of the journaling bits, and then these were the 3x4 bits and piece, 3x4 cut aparts. So I also have the ephemera pieces and then also the foam stickers. So we've got all of that to do a little bit of embellishing with as well. So to start, I think we're gonna just put this down and we're gonna start with that. And I'm gonna just go ahead and use my tape runner again. I don't wanna use a wet adhesive yet because I'm 100% certain I will come back and lift everything up and move it. So we'll just get this kind of set in place so that we can come back and move it if we need to. Okay, we're going to leave this side be and we're going to get the other side set up. All right, and we're going to layer the paper the same way. So we've got the green on the bottom, and just so that we end up roughly the same, the outside edge is like at 5 3/8, and I'm not gonna necessarily be super precise about that, but get it close. So 5 3/8. Puts the edge of it right in there. So there's, whoops, and I got that crooked as heck, or my yellow piece is a little long. So we'll line up at the top. Yep, I didn't quite trim enough of the branding strip off apparently. Okay, and then we want to add the blue piece. And then we had the red piece. And then finally the green piece. Okay, so we'll get that all in place. And this I am going to trim with the tape, with the trimmer. Not sure if I just went a little too far into the branding strip or what happened there, but let's even that up so it looks better. Oh, looks like I need just another little sliver off of there. There we go. That looks better. Okay. So now on this side, let's see if that little portion of that doily that I have left is going to be enough. Actually, let's backtrack. I am going to open the page pieces. I saw a piece in here that I thought maybe I might want to use along the bottom on this side. And that piece is this. I thought that might be kind of fun to pull in here. And then maybe add a cut apart or a journaling bit. And then maybe either a couple more pieces of that. And maybe we even tuck that under the rip piece like that. And bring that further out. And then just work on layering a little bit. Now we do have a bingo card on the other side, and there is another little bingo card on the 3x4 cut apart as well. So maybe we'll use that one on this side. And then let's take a look at our bits and pieces and see what we've got here that we can add. I mean, there is an abundance of just about anything you could possibly want to use. And I'm working really hard at getting better at this layering. I'm not that great at it, but it is something I'm working on. And this needs to go that direction. So I think that's what we're going to work with. Let me just double check and make sure. I don't want to have the doily coming this direction. No, you really won't see much of it. So let's go ahead and tuck that, a little adhesive on there, and tuck that underneath to start. And let's go ahead and tack this little bit down. There we go. And then we're going to want to ink the white edges to antique our ephemera pieces as well, so that they don't have so much white on them and they blend in with the rest of the pieces that are all antiqued. So we'll go ahead and ink those few pieces that I don't have done yet. I did kind of start inking a few of them before I videoed, at least what I thought I would use, but again, I didn't have a real definitive plan in place. So we're gonna just kind of tack this piece down. Again, I'm not getting overly aggressive with the adhesive because I probably will be pulling it up. And then we're gonna go ahead and ink this bingo card. And I am inking fairly heavily to really give, and I'm not being super careful either. You know, I'm kind of hitting more of the face of the ephemera as well. And we want to tuck that bingo card underneath that other piece. And like I said, I'll go back and tack this stuff down a little bit better once I kind of have it all in place, because I'm not real sure about the placement of everything just yet. Just kind of want it there held in place. And then once we're done, I'll go back and add a little wet adhesive in a couple spots and kind of fix that. And get everything tacked down real good. Okay, So I think that that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and ink this outer edges of this piece. And we're going to pop this up on a piece of tape just to add a little dimension. And again, I tend to pick up my tape lots of times at the dollar store, so I actually will use some glue with that just to make sure it's going to permanently stay where I want it to. I don't trust the adhesive on those. So let's, I'm actually going to change where that was. We're going to move that over there. But I do like to, in my layouts, add just a little bit of dimension, and the tape definitely does allow you to do that. Let's see what other little pieces of ephemera are in here. Oh, let's pull out that little red butterfly. I like that one as well. We might as well just get all of these out and stick them with the other pieces of ephemera that we've got, because we can utilize these another week if we don't use them today. All right. We'll just add them to our tray. I do like that little yellow heart. We might end up using that. And possibly this butterfly. The rest of this we're going to just throw in the tray and pull it out as we need it. I love the butterflies. I absolutely adore butterflies, so I love all their collections that have the butterflies in them. All right, let's move the ink out of the way. Let's pull our other side in. Try and clear out enough space so you can see them side by side. Did not test my photo mats on this one. So let's slide that butterfly off. Again, I did that tearing up there when I didn't necessarily maybe need to, but that's okay. So we want to straighten this out. This is crooked. Okay, let's get our photo mat set in place now as well, and then that will give us what we've got left to work with. Okay, so we've got total 4 4x4 photo mats and 2 4x6. Okay, and those two are set in place. Let's get this one set. And because I don't like to do everything straight, we're going to kind of offset the one that's with all of the other layered ephemera. We're going to just put that in there at a bit of an angle. I like the looks of that versus straightening it out. And like I previously mentioned, I would be lifting everything up. Number one, this one's crooked. And number two, this one needs to go up higher. I don't usually line everything up, but in this particular case, I do want these more side by side. They don't have to be perfect, but I do want them more side by side. And hopefully I can get it straight. It takes me 2 or 3 tries, it seems like, to get everything straight. There we go. Okay, by going up higher, that allows for this ephemera piece here These two are offset. I kind of like them offset. I like the butterfly there, but we need to grunge it up a little bit, antique it. So let's add the ink to it. And again, I'm getting pretty aggressive with the ink and covering a lot of the white, or muting the white so it's not such a contrast. So we'll hook that down. And actually, let's put some foam on that piece as well and lift that up. And you don't have to use a lot of wet adhesive, just enough to give it a little extra stick. So I like the butterfly kind of lifted there, and I think I'm pretty good with everything over here. Giving it a good press, get it stuck down. And we're going to add this heart as well. But we want to get rid of the white on it. And again, I think I'm going to use some tape. Lift that up. Okay, now let's take a look at some more ephemera pieces and see what we want to add. I don't think we're going to use any of the foam stickers, only because they really definitely have a lot of white to them. And I get we do have a little bit of white throughout, but it's more muted, and I feel like the foam stickers are quite a bit brighter with the white, so we're going to just avoid those. We do also have the sticker sheet, and there's some pretty cute stickers on here, so we might use a few of the stickers on the sticker sheet. I like this white heart here, or this heart. It does have a little bit of white border, is where I was gonna go with that, but you can even take your ink and kind of mute it as well. So let's see, let's tuck that. Just behind the bingo card. That'll need tacked down just a little bit more. And maybe okay, I think we'll tuck that in there. But I'm gonna just hit this sticker with the ink as well, and I did hit the inside of that sticker. Okay, where did I have that? Okay. And let's see, what else? Actually, let's go back to the sticker sheet. Just gonna kind of layer a little bit right there. And maybe even bring in this red ticket. And I'm going to tuck quite a bit of that under there. So I'm going to be conservative with my ticket. And tuck the other half of that on the other side. And it's not that they necessarily have to look like they're the same ticket and meet up. So I'm just going to kind of randomly place that there. And then I have always really liked all these words along the bottom here. So we are going to add some of those. And Hey Sunshine is going to go right under this photo mat. Bloom and Grow is going to get added right underneath of it. We're going to kind of offset it. And then Bloom Where You Are Planted, a nice long one. And I kind of want to just step it back roughly the same distance and roughly spaced the same distance apart as well. That one's quite a bit longer. And So Beautiful. It's gonna go under this photo mat here. And I was going to do the Sweet as Pie, but I want A Beautiful Day. And it's going to be tucked right in that little tear spot right there. We're going to tuck that back in there. Try and get it straight. Beautiful Day. Now we need something else there. How about one of these little heart stickers? And we're just going to ink the edges up. Stick that there. Okay, I'm liking that. Let's grab another one of those hearts. I'm going to stick it kind of in that spot. Bloom Where You're Planted was a little bit longer than maybe I wanted. So we'll just fill up some of that space with another heart. That looks pretty good. And then let's take a look at this side. All of the ephemera pieces are looking good here. And we better pull a heart over there somewhere. So we'll grab another heart. I think we're going to tuck a heart right there. And then I also like these little buttons. So I'm going to use one of them and stick right there. Grab this blue one. Stick there. And then we've got this little yellow ticket. And we're going to stick it. I'm going to just tuck that right under the bingo card there. I think sometimes my struggle with the layering is I quit too early, and you really just got to keep layering. All right, let's see if any of those other banners, I know there's a couple of them in here, like this one, Sweet Memories. That one's pretty. I know there's a few more of them in here. Here's another ticket. And of course there's some buttons here in this ephemera as well. I'm just going to pull a couple of them out and decide if we want to use any more of them. The Good Life, that's on yellow, so that would really be more yellow on yellow. And 100% organic. Rise and Shine. Another ticket that might work. And I think that's gonna be maybe it. Might use that piece too. Need to ink it. Okay, let's see. I like the Sweet Memories. I kind of like the red there, so we're gonna go ahead and use that piece. And we'll just ink that real quick. The ephemera, getting all the ephemera down takes longer with all the inking, but I like the more antique look. And we're going to use the photo tape for that as well. So again, run a little glue. Sweet Memories. There, that looks pretty well centered. And then let's take this red ticket. And then this piece too. I didn't mind that under there either, so I'll just get rid of a lot of that white. I actually might cut that in half, only because I'm tucking so much of it underneath that we can use both sides. Okay, that's not where I was originally going to put it, so we've still got this. That green ticket's not going to stand out there very well, though. So let's see if I've got any more ticket-like pieces that I can work with. This one doesn't have much on it, but it's a good little filler. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. This still looks crooked to me, so let's try and get this straightened out. That seems a little bit better. All right. The only other thing I want to look for is I really like that heart. I wonder if I've got one more heart in here. Doesn't really. Yep, I think there was a blue one hiding from me. Yeah, we got to pull one more heart. And we're going to go ahead and lift that up on a little bit of foam tape as well. Adds to the layering there. So let's see, what do we think? Oh, I had a couple more pieces already inked and ready to go over here that I don't know that we're going to necessarily use. Let's get some of this mess out of the way so that we can get a clear look at our pages side by side and see if they need anything else added. There we go. I don't think we're going to use these. We'll save those for another project. And we hid most of the doilies that I made, but that's okay. But I do think we're going to add this last little bit right here. It'd be a great spot to do some journaling. Do we want to tuck it? I think we want to put it up on top. Be a great little journaling spot. Obviously there is some room on the page to journal as well. But I think we'll just tuck that right up here on that bingo card. That bingo card just seemed kind of overbearing with the whole card showing there, and then that kind of replicates this other side here. We've got some good stuff tucked underneath. Looks to me like we are done. So thank you so much for sticking with me for another installment in my Scrappin' Saturday series, coming to you a little late this Sunday evening. Stay tuned. Next week we'll have another installment. Not sure if we'll be moving on to another collection or not. That remains to be seen. And again, be sure to check out all of the other fabulous designers who are partaking in Saturday Morning Makes by searching the hashtag satmornmakes, hosted by the fabulous Jillian Norwood. And I will link her YouTube channel below. I will also link all of the products used to my website, where I do have these items available for purchase. And I will go through and glue some of this stuff down off camera. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd appreciate it if you would, so you can be sure to catch all new content once it is uploaded, and follow along with my Scrappin' Saturday series. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.